It's not magically sweater weather on September 1st because you want it to be. And we're not even at September 1st. So this, in my opinion, is priming the viewer for the fall content. And attempting to sell people this as like a general use, pick this up for your party thing is so out of touch, in my opinion, because actually, how much do you think this costs? $100? $200? $300? $400? No, you'd be wrong. It's $500. Hey y'all, I'm Shauna. Welcome in or welcome back to the channel. Today, I have another Amazon finds video for you. So I'm going to be talking about, discussing, critiquing, reacting to Amazon finds, Amazon favorite video. If you've never seen one of my Amazon videos before, I think you're in for some good fun. Because in these videos, my goal is to de-influence you or critique and discuss how items are being sold to you or why we might be inclined to specific items or shop. I now officially have an Amazon must-haves playlist where you can catch all of my Amazon videos. We're going to get started, and I have quite the myriad of videos. I actually have a couple from Instagram, one of which was sent by a subscriber. And we have some kitchen stuff. We have some fashion stuff. We're going to be talking about fall fashion in this video. And we have some laundry stuff. I'm just going to get into it. And we're first going to talk about a kitchen gadgets video. This video is very popular. It has close to 4.5 million views. And it's from a really big creator as well, an Amazon finds creator. So I think it's time. Let's watch.
Amazon Kitchen Finds. This is a garlic roller which finely chops your garlic when you roll it over your counter. This is a butter spreader which works like a chopstick and allows you to spread butter over your toast. To use it, you just fill it with butter and put it in your fridge. This is a Turnal sink mat which absorbs splashes to keep water off your counter. It's machine washable, has anti-slip padding and can be secured to your sink to stop it falling off. These are mug stackers which expand to allow you to stack your mugs together to save cupboard space. This is a smart cutting board which has a built-in scale and timer, an app to track your calories, a magnetic part to hold your knife, and even a spare board to cut your fruit and veg on. It packs away neatly and is completely waterproof, making it easy to clean. This is a cutlery brush which suctions to your sink and allows you to clean your cutlery super easily. These are silicone stretch lids which turn any dish into a Tupperware container. Just stretch them over your food and they keep your food fresher for longer. This is a burger holder which keeps your burger together and prevents ingredients spilling out whilst you eat. This is a can dispenser which rolls the next can to the front once you take one, helping to keep your fridge organized. And this is a claw cutter which holds your onion together and keeps your fingers out the way, making cutting much easier.
So with this video, and actually with many that we're going to watch, we're not going to talk about everything if we have multiples, because we would truly be here all day. And I just want to talk about some of the highlights of this video. He talks about 10 items in just over a minute. It's like 1 minute and 8 seconds, something like that. The total time is about 1:10, maybe a little bit less. He has seconds, less than 10 seconds per item. So just on a conceptual level, you're not getting reviews or anything really thorough. You're just getting this product exists and like a 1-line blurb of the item, which I think is just really interesting to think about, that we can be influenced from somebody talking about 5 seconds of a product and then just seeing it on the screen. The first thing I want to talk about is the garlic roller. If you've never owned one of these items, you might think about it and be like, yes, it's a great idea. And these also tend to be cheap, like under $10. Sometimes you might get them like $20. They're cheap enough that you don't feel too guilty impulse buying it. I think people's threshold for impulse buys, like if something is around like the $5 to $15 range, it's just cheap enough to fit into that perfect little impulse buy window. And then with this, it seems kind of practical because you're like, garlic roller. What people want when they're using the press is like the really fine bits of garlic. And there's lots of waste that's created with these products. And so the part of the appeal of this could be that it wastes less than the typical garlic press. But even with that selling feature, these things are so annoying to clean. My parents owned one of these, and I've known many people who bought them thinking that it's going to save them time cutting the garlic, because a lot of people hate cutting garlic because it's got to be fine. It's annoying and it smells and it gets all over your hands and your cutting board. I get it, but these things are annoying to clean. And this prevents a lot of people from ever using them at all. Like, you use them for a little bit, maybe a couple of weeks, and then after a while, after cleaning it so many times, what happens is you might need to cut up 1 clove of garlic, maybe 2 cloves of garlic, and then you have that mental debate in your head. Is it worth all the time I'm going to spend cleaning this thing out? You also have to peel the garlic before putting it in this thing. So this doesn't solve that problem either. I just feel like it's just like a little gadget you're going to waste your money on. The butter spreader, novelty. Pure novelty. It's like a foundation stick. You can use a knife. You can use a knife. Next, we'll talk about the cutlery brush. This is another case where you can use your hands. You don't need a gadget. And if you are dealing with cutlery that has a lot of grime on it or stuck on stuff, there are other solutions you can use. One of the things that my partner and I do is we have a cup, like a plain cup that neither of us want to use because it has like a really big chip in the top. It's just like a glass cup. So we put that at the edge of our sink and we put all of our cutlery into the cup and we keep water in there. So all of the cutlery throughout the day goes in there. Or if perhaps we forgot, like after dinner, you put some water in there and all of it just soaks for a bit. And then by the time you go and you wash your dishes, all of that stuff has had time to soak. And then you're also using a cup that you wouldn't ordinarily want to keep. And so it's kind of like a 2-for-1. And personally speaking, we haven't really had much problems with grime on cutlery using this method, so it works great, and we used what we have. The silicone lids are also one where you think they're going to be practical, but they're kind of annoying to use. I had a bunch of these that I got in a subscription box, so I didn't pick them, and I actually decluttered them after a few years because I found it really difficult to match whatever thing I was using with the lid. It only fit like maybe 30-40% max of the plates or bowls or whatever that I used. And so the fit was kind of trash. Number 2 is that I tend to want to put things in a container versus having like an open bowl of something. If you're worried about washing stuff, you still have to wash the silicone lid and the bowl. So it's only marginally more cleaning. Some of these lid sizes are so small that they only fit cans, which I would rather put the contents of a can in a container, have the can in the fridge with the cover on it. To me, this is more of a replacement for people who put saran wrap on top of their bowls and such. If that's not how you typically operate, I don't think that you're going to magically switch over to using silicone lids if you already, let's say, have containers. I think it's much better to stick with the containers if you're that kind of person, because you're just using what you have already instead of buying more things in an attempt to be sustainable. Like, we don't need that. You can keep putting your beans or your leftovers in containers. Last is the burger holder. And aside from people who may have some challenges holding items or hand dexterity issues, maybe somebody who can't hold things for long and puts them down a lot, maybe something like that. Aside from somebody using this as a mobility aid, this is such a gimmick. You don't need to buy stuff to hold your hamburger. You have hands. And with all the stuff that I mentioned in this section, I think some of them could be mobility devices or aids. I could see the garlic roller being easier on somebody's hands, especially if you just roll. You don't need to hold a knife or finely chop things. I could get that. But we also have to consider the spirit in which this person made the video. This person isn't attempting to provide mobility aids or help people provide solutions like that. This person is trying to sell you cheap stuff, so they make commissions. Oh, the last thing I want to talk about is this cutting board. This cutting board, I couldn't find it on Amazon Canada, or the US. Like, it was out of stock, so I couldn't see the price. But this retailed for £80, which is kind of wild for a cutting board. And the conversion for that would be something like maybe $150 Canadian, maybe like 110 US. I'm not great at conversions off the fly. But this is so expensive, and part of the price for that is the app. Then you have the magnetic aspect of the cutting board, and then you have the scale. I regularly use a kitchen scale, and I have for years. I love my kitchen scale, but it does not need to be attached to your cutting board, because what's going to happen is you're going to, like, if you actually use a kitchen scale, because that's a whole other thing where you might see this as useful and be like, yes, I think this would be practical or helpful or just seems like a good idea, but you don't actually use kitchen scales. I think it's a particular kind of person who maybe like wants, it's a particular use case. And if you are somebody who does use a kitchen scale, what I think you're going to run into is you're going to have to pull out your cutting board every time that you want to use the scale, which is going to lead you to either not using the scale because that's annoying, or you're going to have a secondary scale that's more practical that isn't as annoying. Why not just keep the cutting board you already have and the scale you already have, or if we're truly interested in the scale, buy a separate scale. That just makes the most sense. You don't need a cutting board to come with an app, and you also don't need it to be magnetic. That's just like a little gimmick novelty thing that's going to make you excited, but doesn't really have a ton of functional value. You can just rest your knife on the cutting board. I also don't think it's going to prevent kids from touching it or pulling off the knives. It might provide some resistance, but still kind of exposed. You have the plastic cutting board underneath. Plastic cutting boards are terrible because of the microplastics and they're difficult to clean. Like, we just don't need to faff around with this. We're now going to watch a fall clothing essentials video, and I have so much to say about this, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this particular video, so let's watch. This video was posted on August 11th. We are so far from fall, which is kind of why this caught my attention. One of the main things I want to talk about this video before we get to the fall aspect of it is the duplicates. Most things in this video are shown in duplicates. It could be as many colors as that thing comes in, or just a few color options so you as the viewer can see the different options and go, oh, I like this one the best, so like I'm gonna buy that one. This showcasing of multiples really hammers home that this is a business. They are showing you multiples, so you are presented with more items to give you more opportunity to buy. Showing multiples or giving people options is a classic upselling technique. If you're presented with two things, your choice is between one or two. You're presented with a handful of items or in a category, like you're being shown 4 sweaters instead of 1 sweater. It's a greater likelihood that you're going to buy something because you're presented with more options. I also think that they are buying multiples like for business purposes. And once they're done showcasing you all the things, they're going to return what they don't actually want to keep. Maybe they keep nothing. Maybe they keep 50% or 60%. But this to me just is like they're buying things for their business, which we can absolutely lose sight of when we're watching these cute little fashion videos. This is just my reminder that these creators are businesses and they treat their pages like businesses, meaning that they are posting products, they are making content that is specifically designed to sell you things. Now, the official start of fall is about 6 weeks away, so this is early, and I think some people, myself included, view September like as soon as September 1st hits, it's fall time. But this is more like a state of mind, or maybe doing small changes or changing specific elements of your life and not necessarily going into fashion. By that, I mean people might change up their music or put in their fall decor, pull out their fall scents and soaps, that kind of thing. They might change up some of their clothes, but it being September 1st, which we're not even there yet, doesn't just like the weather doesn't just change September 1st. It's not magically sweater weather on September 1st because you want it to be. And we're not even at September 1st. So this, in my opinion, is priming the viewer for the fall content. It's getting you excited for fall. So when the bulk of the fall content starts coming to you, you're excited about it. Like you are ready and you are immersed in it. This kind of content gets us percolating, like gets our mind starting to think about fall content. This is the kind of content that keeps us looking to the future, looking for the next thing or the newest thing, right? Like what's the next thing to buy? What's the next season? And we are continuously looking at what's to come, what's next, what can I buy next? Instead of looking at things as they are now, appreciating life, our stuff, our homes right now. Even if you only hold this in context to stuff and you do not hold it in context to your life, what this does is it keeps us looking out for more. It keeps us looking ahead to the future and the next thing to buy. If you and I are right now, we're not looking to the future, we're looking at today, what we're looking at is summer. What we're looking at is enjoying our summer wardrobes. We're not thinking about fall. We're not thinking about the next thing to buy. We're thinking about the here and now. We are so much less incentivized to buy stuff if we are in the present and we are appreciating the present. The last thing to mention about this video is the fall essentials. Nothing about this is essential, even if this is your style. They're framing in this line of thinking that we should be buying new things each season or that there are essentials to buy each season validates this always buying new things kind of mentality, or that we should be buying new things because of the seasonal change, which is not true. Part of this essentials conversation, I think, is trends, like framing trends of right now as essentials. We're going to move on and we're now going to talk about a drink maker. So I was just looking at this creator's page. She's bigger on Instagram, like she's double the following on Instagram that she does on TikTok, which is interesting. And her bio on both places includes the saying, solving problems you didn't know you had. No, you're not solving problems if you don't know that you have them. You're selling people useless shit. I've seen this machine everywhere. But I've mostly been seeing people use it organically opposed to somebody restocking it or like having an ad specifically for it. It's not like a paid partnership, but it's still an advertisement for this. And once I saw this, I started seeing more. Another account we're going to talk about later also posted one of these recently, which is making me think that there's potentially higher commission for this product. So the caption for this is never worry about having your bar stocked or making drinks because this is a live-in bartender. That is such a stupid caption. I'm so sorry, but never worry about having your bar stocked. This does not make sense because whether or not you have these bottles at your bar or in here, like you still have to stock them. For the average person, this is unnecessary. And attempting to sell people this as like a general use, pick this up for your party thing is so out of touch in my opinion, because actually, how much do you think this costs? $100? $200? $300? $400? No, you'd be wrong. It's $500. Selling people a $500 drink mixing gadget is so out of touch, especially to do it this way. You don't need a $500 party beverage thing. Like, you do not. If you're somebody who experiences mobility issues, I could see this being helpful. You wouldn't have to open the bottles, pour the bottles, like you're pressing a button. And so I think it could give somebody's life some independence. Not the context in which this is being sold though. If we're just gonna like go along her premise, Do you truly host so many parties with so many people that you would need this? Let alone like you would use this, it would just be a novelty. Spending $500 on a novelty is just, it's not it. I wanted to do a little bit of commission math on this because I think that commission is driving this purchase or driving this promotion. The average Amazon commission is about 4%. So we're going to go with that. There's a chance that this is more, and I do have a feeling that it's more.
Editing Shauna here. I was indeed correct about the higher commission percentage. I was thinking back to the video I did on Amazon affiliate links, and I went back to the listing on Amazon, and it is listed as part of the home category. So when you look up home in their commissions payouts, it is 9% commission. So I believe this high commissions percent combined with the high price of this item factors into why this product is being pushed.
But we're going to go with 4%. So 4% commission on $500 is $20. I calculated some of this numbers based on her TikTok following, but she's much more on Instagram. So just go with me on this one. So based on 275,000 followers, if half of 1% bought this, that's 1,350 people. Let's actually, you know what? Let's round this down to 1,000. Let's be even more conservative with this. If 1,000 people bought this at $500, she'd be making $20,000 off her stupid little, I hate this. I'm so sorry, but I hate this. Got out of myself. $20,000 off of this thing. I think that's why she's pushing it. And one of the reasons why I hate this is for like the whole out of touch stuff I was talking about. But I think it's a bit of a slippery slope to push an alcohol beverage system like a Keurig. And I think that it could just lead to or promote a not so great relationship with alcohol. Just my take. Also, this thing is so freaking bulky. Where are you putting it? It's also ugly. Like, you're going to put this on your bar. And I also think that like part of like bartending and drink mixing is like the art of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm being kind of an asshole. I don't know. This kind of cheapens it in my opinion, but we're going to go on. We're going to move on. We're now going to go onto Instagram and I'm going to show you a couple of videos from this creator. They are much bigger on Instagram. They have nearly 1 million followers on Instagram and they're one of the other accounts I saw promoting the drink mixer. So we're going to watch a few videos from them. And I want to talk about this stupid hair catching device. Okay. I've seen this everywhere, like since I started making these videos, and this hair catcher annoys me. Like it's irrational how much it annoys me. So let's watch this first.
Catcher that you install in your shower and is a spot to catch all of that loose hair to prevent your shower drain from getting clogged.
The way that this is sold is not how this works. Your hair is going to fall on the floor.
I got so tongue-tied making this segment because I was frustrated. I think I was a bit confusing. What you're actually doing with this product is you're removing hair that's already on your shower wall and putting it in a different thing already on your shower wall. If you are actually having problems with hair falling into your drain, this is not the product that will help you with that. You need a drain trap, not this thing. And even if you have a drain trap, we're really going to scoop this hair from your drain trap to then put it in a receptacle on your shower wall when it never has to stay permanently in your shower and you can just put it straight from your drain trap into your garbage.
It's not saving the hair from falling in your drain. If you want to prevent hair from falling in your drain, you need a hair catcher for your drain specifically. I also think that this is just dumb as it is because a hair garbage can that's going on the wall of your shower, why not just leave your hair on the wall of your shower and then take it off the wall of your shower when you're done? You don't need this thing for that. Make it make sense, please. We're now going to watch what I intended to show you first.
This hamper is not only aesthetic, but it also has 3 removable washing bags, so you can easily separate your fabrics and colors, and the handles on the top and bottom make it easy to load and unload. Then drop the bags back in the basket and they will lock in place.
If you're wondering, this hamper is $130. Spending $130 on a hamper is completely unnecessary. And this is the kind of product that is the aesthetic replacement. You look at it and you go, wow, that's super cute. That's really nice. It's aesthetic. It's much nicer than the hamper I already have. Therefore, I'm like, maybe I should buy it. This kind of video encourages people to upgrade fully functioning items for aesthetic purposes. And hampers aren't things that most people think about that often unless it's causing you a problem. And so this becomes the classic case of you not thinking about your hamper, period, not thinking about it as ugly or some kind of problem. And then you see this cute one and all of a sudden you want a new hamper. We're thinking about replacing things and buying things that would never have registered to us if we had not seen this video. The last thing about this is that this hamper is freaking huge. It's going to eat up so much of your space. And this might work well for some spaces. In other spaces, you need that more like horizontal space instead of that vertical space. I know if this was in my closet, first of all, there's no place in my bedroom for this to go. If this was in my closet, it like game over. It's impractical. For some places. If it's practical for you, what you really should consider is, do you actually need a new hamper? Is yours causing you some kind of problem? Like, is it broken? Is it not functioning in some kind of way? If not, you don't need this. Like, you just don't. And I bet you a week goes by, you're totally going to forget about this and you're not even going to care. And your hamper is just going to be fine and you're going to go on living your life. We're now going to watch a TikTok that was sent to me by a subscriber. This has nearly 20 million views and I just watch. I feel like it's going to speak for itself, but just watch.
I love this thing because it not only keeps your phone from overheating, it keeps your drink cooled off too. These portable chairs secure to the edge of your pool, and the design of it keeps the chair in place. Not only is this phone case waterproof, but it floats too. This mini tent prevents the glare from the sun when you're using your phone or your laptop. Having a portable fan in this heat is actually crucial. It's a removable remote, it oscillates, is rechargeable, and there's a light. As this pouch is attached to the bag, you won't lose it. It keeps your phone fully functional and it's waterproof.
The first one gets me the most. The chairs, I've actually talked about these chairs before, so we're not going to talk about them again. And she says, summertime stuff I love for my pool, beach, or vacation. Those chairs only work for pools. And are you really going to bring these chairs on vacation? No. So we're not going to talk about the chairs. The first one is so useless. Buying shit for the sake of it. That's another thing that's only good for pools. You do not need a plastic place for your phone or your beverage on the side of the pool. Like, you do not. Most of this stuff is problems that don't actually need solving. And you put your phone in the shade, you put your phone in your bag, like, you're good. You don't actually need to bring your phone in the pool. Like, that's not something that you need. Why not enjoy your time in the pool? Maybe floating, maybe being with your friends or your family. Most of this is just like pointless stuff that you're going to buy because you're excited or because it's novel or you think it's cute. And then within a few weeks, it's just going to fall by the wayside, or you're not going to use it as much because it doesn't offer much value to your life and you just wanted to buy something right now. And this was the thing that you saw. I mostly brought up this video for the phone stuff at the beginning. So we're going to move on, and this is going to be our last video for today. And this one is 10 Amazon finds under $10, which is also another really big video with 6 million views.
10 Amazon must-haves for $10 or less. Whether you have Zoom calls or not, you need these camera covers to protect your privacy. Another way to protect your privacy is this stamp. It covers up confidential information. These acne patches literally get rid of whiteheads overnight. These mini spatulas for scooping out lip balm. I still can't believe this entire kit is only $10. This mascara and lash primer that are cruelty-free. This jewelry cleaning pen. This cooling and depuffing eye balm for tough mornings. And this mask case. 10 Amazon.
We are again wildly misusing the term must-haves. We're just going to talk a couple of the items rapid fire because I feel like after a bit you're going to get the point. The camera cover. You don't need to buy that. Let me introduce you to paper and tape. We don't need to sell people this. This one got me the most out of all of them because they're such simple solutions just around your home. You don't need to buy anything for. The mail stamp, Sharpie works fine. In most cases, you can cover up the label with your own label for returning stuff. The spatula, you could use a spoon. You could use your finger. You could use a brush. Like if you have an old makeup brush you don't really know what to do with, you could use that. And also for somebody who's like, you know what? No, I think a spatula might be good. Fine. Good for you. Not an essential. The nail clipper kit, also not an essential. Like if we were going to talk about essentials in that kit, it would be the nail clippers, like maybe the file, but you don't need 20 things. And like not all 20 are essential. And this is one of those things where you're getting sucked in by the deal. Like you feel like you're getting so much value. It's more what I meant to say. Like you feel great about it. But it's one of those things where you don't actually need, and you probably aren't going to use all the items in that kit. You're probably going to use maybe like 2 or 3, maybe 4. And then what are you going to do with the other 8 items? The last thing that I mentioned is the mask case. I initially thought that this was for sheet masks. And then I looked at the date and I realized this was probably for like the face masks from COVID. This just like makes me roll my eyes a little bit because it took all of 5 seconds for people to capitalize on the pandemic and sell us shit that we don't need. Sure, is it a good idea to have a pouch for your mask? Sure, that's fine. Like I can understand that you don't necessarily want to keep your mask in your pocket. That might not feel hygienic to you, but people didn't produce this stuff for sanitary reasons. They produced this stuff to make money. And I also think about like influencers at the time. Like this was made during the pandemic and it kind of feels gross to see people, or not just this product, but all kinds of other products, like shilling people stuff during the pandemic. I saw so many people with like mask collections. I even saw mask hauls. And I remember very vividly one influencer like reaching into a basket and going like this. It was sometime in 2021. And she had like 15, 20 masks. Like she accumulated so many masks so quickly and then, you know, showed them to her followers. And I get having more than one mask, most especially if you work outside of the home every day. I get that, but people overconsumed stuff that was always meant to be temporary. Now, perhaps more people are inclined to wear masks if they're feeling sick, regardless of whether it's COVID or not. And I feel like this is a practice in North America, at least, that has become more commonplace since COVID. But because we're not wearing masks every day anymore, to have so many is useless. And it's overconsumption, and it was at the time. It's this kind of overconsumption for things like masks and mask products that really showcases that people just love to shop and love to overconsume and will do it with anything. And our brains can go to such lengths to justify things. We felt so secure and felt so good about buying masks because they were like PPE. But there's a point in which almost everything can become excessive. And then you're the asshole for being like, dude, you don't need 20 masks. The last thing I'm going to say about this kind of video is this $10 or less price point is actually a really great video because there's certain price points in which people feel comfortable overspending or feel comfortable impulse buying. Like when people feel that itch to buy or that need to buy stuff, cheap stuff like this, stuff that's $10 or less, is just like that perfect sweet spot where you don't feel super guilty for buying it or buying multiple, and you can buy it relatively quickly as well, not feeling guilty impulse buying it. So somebody could buy 3 items in this video, get that high from buying stuff, and then go on their way. I think a lot of what people buy, not every case, not every person, but it's stuff like this, the cheap stuff that really entices people to shop, overspend, and impulse buy. That's everything from me today. Hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your thoughts about these products in the comments, and I would love it if you would subscribe to catch more content like this. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.